the old steamships and my old LS ships. Like I said, there was all these people in 1960 and 1940, all these USers as they call them, or whatever. All these people like Rodney and all these other people saying, "Oh well, those old ships they didn't go very fast. They weren't all that good." You know, the new blah 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 blah. And I was like, what the? I was like, my ships just cruised at 29 knots. I was like, all my ships can go faster. They can go like 40 and 60 miles an hour. I had the fastest ships in the sea. And so like I say, when the Queen Mary did that river crossing, or I mean, not the river, I mean the ocean crossing and all that stuff, I was like, permission to go full speed ahead. Open her up. Let's show these pieces of shit what we can really do. You know, like I said, I was pissed. They were saying, yeah, those old steamships, the old whatever ships, they're not as fast as the new ships, blah blah blah. And I was like, now we just cruised. That was the most efficient speed. We could go a lot faster, and even well, it was because of the war and stuff like that. Like everyone thought because my ships they never opened up. They always ran for the most efficient, most least wear, blah blah. Basically, just cruise the engines, so they could get the most amount of life out of the engines and stuff like that. But like I said, come 1960 or 1940, my reputation was on the line. Our reputation was on the line. You know, the Irish and this and my people. And I was like, we'll just see about that. You know, because I knew my ships could go at least 40 or 60 miles an hour. Because they were trying to say, yeah, those old big ships, they didn't go very far. It's like, I am the designer, inventor of steam power and steam engines, and the one who basically set the standard for luxury and steam power. It's like trying to say my submarines, those old submarines, could only go down to 100 feet or 400 feet. I was like, you've got me confused with somebody else. You've got us confused with somebody else, sons and daughters. Like, I am the great steam. Like, and I had a colony ship and everything else. Like, no. My ships can go 40 to 60 miles an hour. So, like I said, and I don't even think the Queen Mary was full wide open when they did that. I'm not exactly sure. My people always trimmed her back a little bit, as they say. Like I said, and they were trying to say the same thing about my steam engines. Trying to say that my steam engines, yeah, well, they only went about 50 miles an hour, and they only went about 30 miles an hour. It's like, I had four, and my people happily were like, you were saying, like I say, I love my Irish. I love my Scottish, my English, and my British people. No, so we opened them up. I gave them permission to go ahead and go full speed on those things. I was like, let's show them. Like I said, I was pissed. I had the best, most honorable, most well-made ships ever with the highest standards. Like most, like I say, a lot of people plated metal. I actually had real gold, solid gold finishings on a lot of my ships. Solid. They were only like 8 karat or something like that, or something. They might have been plated a higher coating. I don't know. I had real gold and real stuff. Some of my people did cut back a little bit because it wasn't necessary. Because they said, well, it's not necessary, sir. And I was like, oh, I guess, okay. We did cut corners a little bit, but they weren't really cutting corners. It was still the highest, best standard ever. Like my Belfast shipyard, my shipyards, they were trying to say blah, 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 blah. Like the truth is I own the French yard. I own this yard. I started them. They were all my shipyards practically. My people set the standard. So like I say, come 1960, 1950, around there, I was pissed. And my people were angry too, I think. It's like, how dare they say this thing? I had a glass-bottom boat and built a whole city underwater. So people could look down beneath the glass-bottom boat and actually see, what was underwater. I even had a boat where you could stand underneath the water because the whole bottom of the hull was all glass. Waterproof, watertight. It was back in the 1800s. I was like, you children got us confused with somebody else. Anyway. As my people would say, for king and glory. For me, Lucifer Star. I'm the mega king. The big whatever. So like I say, I always knew what my subs could do. I always knew what my people could do. I always knew what my ships could do. And I was angry. He's angry. He's the guy that set the standard for luxury and cruising, and basically defined what is travel. And he's angry. It's like, damn right I was angry. How dare people? How dare? My British people, my Germans, and my Scottish and Irish people, the biggest, deepest minds, the biggest whatever, the highest standard of luxury. Lucifer White Star Lines, a colony ship even. And these little whatevers are gonna say like Nixon or Lockheed or Skunk Works. It's like, you got us confused with somebody else. I'm not some Nazi whatever. Sorry. Like I said, I get angry, because, my people worked hard. Every single man, woman, child that worked at any of my LS yard, we built cities. So 1960 whatever. Like I said, when our reputation, when my reputation was on the line, I was like, open her up, let's set some records again. Let's show these kids. So they did. I was like, I'll pay the cost. I was like, I'll pay the cost, don't worry. So, and we put on some big shows, as they say. A big show, sir? Yes, a big show. Anyway. So those, like I said, your history was defined by me, mostly. And my people. And like I said, they did me proud every time. Like I said, I was always proud. My people, the best people in the universe, in the world, as far as I was concerned. And some of them might have said he's the best Lord and leader that we've ever had. It's like, yeah, I am. A true leader, a true creator. Anyway, so that's me. Publicized all that stuff. And pictures taken, like I said, we took pictures of all the people at the yard and stuff like that, all throughout the years. I think it goes back a long ways. I was having the photographs taken of all my workers, even the moppers, everyone. The Sunday best and all that other stuff. How people had 5 dresses of clothes, 4 for the work week, and then 1 nice pair of clothes for the weekend, or for Sunday, for dates or whatever. Because like I said, I wanted my employees, to be able to enjoy themselves at least 1 or 2 days a week, and wanted them to have a nice pair of clothes for that. That was me. It wasn't Hitler or Himmler or some Nazi fuckhead or some trumped up or JFK piece of shit. That was me. That was what I could do. All these pieces of shit taking credit for my great works and my great things. It's like, I was your, that's what a real leader does. That's what a real Lord does, is treat you right. And that's what I was doing. All these little pieces of shit were coming along going, Like, no. The queens worked for me. Whole planets work for me. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, I just got angry. And and my people, I think, might have gotten angry too, because it's like, they knew who they were working for, I think. LS. My name was on was on the shipyards, or at least one of them. Even though I invested in other shipyards, so other people. And that's another thing. Like I said, I invested in other shipyards so other people could have shipyards. I constantly invested, constantly helped other people, but I had my own shipyards as well. So, and my own slate yard with its own ships. And they even pointed out, I love my Irish people. They're like, and we had our own ships. It's like, yep, you did. I had this little thing going. So, and profit sharing, and free travel for all my employees. So, well, I mean, they could stay. They had to kind of group up a little bit, but because we also had to make money. My people understood though. We had to make money, and and all that. So, anyway, that's why I got so angry, because it's like. Anyway, yeah. And then at some point in time, people thought they could just kill me or get me out of the way or push me or whatever. And my people came to my rescue. And I said, I also have exoskeletons and 1.5s too. Like I would tell my Irish people and my other people, it's like, well, you have friends. You can contact the 1.5s. Like, they even came here to the planet. There's also exoskeletons. They should be your friends. You're one of my 12. So, anyway. And to certain people, like the Irish and the Chinese and even some British, they could ask them for help. And they would probably help them. To the Congress and some black people and some other people that have shown themselves to be dishonorable and not a good group, no. There's no help for you. Like the black people would laugh. Ha ha, we turned our back on you a long time ago. Or whatever. It's like, yes, I know. I know you turned your back on me. And you turned your back on your own selves. And you started killing each other. That's not my fault. That's called bad leadership. So, they thought they were big and powerful or something like that. It's like, well, that was your choice. That was your leader's choices. A plague onto this world. When the black people find out that, yeah, it was like, I could point them out. I could be like, yeah, that guy right there, and that's what he was doing, blah, 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 this guy right here, and Papa right there. A plague onto this world. Some old guy that was slapping white women and black women. I point them all out. All the evidence is there. There's detailed files on every single one of them. And hey, if you chose to follow them, that was your fault. But yeah, Bloods and Crips, a plague onto this world. Did your leader ever tell you that? Papa was running Papa's Boys. Papa's Boys was running the Bloods and the Crips. A plague onto this world. Tear down, burn down. Some old, like 80, 90-year-old black guy who's just angry at the whole world. Yeah, we kicked him out of Warsaw. We kicked him out of 3 other cities. And then he was like, and then he basically threatened all civilization by saying he was going to tear it all down and destroy it all. And my Irish people were like, oh, thanks. So he was angry. And he was just some guy that could probably spend every single penny that the black people ever had on basically bombs and trying to destroy things. Oh well.